Hey! All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Thursday night. We are live. Welcome to the watch party of the Hit List Podcast Network. I'm your girl, Lorena.
And I'm your girl, Lydia.
It's your boy, as a Kiwi in the building.
And
all right.
St. John. Hello.
She's ready. She like jump right in.
Go, Brian. I'm sorry. I got so excited to be here tonight. I'm sorry. Please introduce yourself again.
It's Brian St. John.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay. So tonight is jam-packed. All right. We're going to be reviewing DC Stargirl episode 8, the Shiv Part Two. Yes! Which serves as the final part of the two-part Shiv. DC Stargirl has been renewed for season 2.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yes. I'm so excited about that. Okay. We're also going to be introducing a new show on HBO, Perry Mason. And then lastly, we're going to be reviewing the trailer for the upcoming season of the show called The Boys. Hold to your hats. Tonight, the ride might be bumpy. Stick with us, okay? And please roll the clip.
I did it. I found Stargirl.
What?
This could be the break we needed.
Nothing's worth you getting hurt like this.
Hey, new girl.
Stargirl, new hit series, next Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the.
Okay.
Well, all right.
We are laughing because
these damn quick clips. I can't.
Kiwi thinks that he has like 3 hours during the clip to run to the store, down the block, do some push-ups.
I got things to do.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we just watched a quick clip of the Shiv Part 2, and we start off with Courtney in the hospital. And Courtney is Stargirl. For those who have not watched any episodes, she's our Stargirl. She's our main girl. And Pat is like seriously like shaken. I mean, he is to the point to where I feel like this man is going to have a nervous breakdown. We got Jordan in the hotel room with Mr. Riley, and Mr. Riley works for Bannerman, and then like Jordan kills him. So we start off like this episode on this crazy high. Let's talk about Courtney in the hospital and Pat. What do you think? I mean, Pat is like, yo, we got to tell your moms about what's going on. He crashing cars. He covering stories. Let's get into this.
Well, okay. Pat is in a serious position because he's married and he's not telling his wife what's going on. And so at some point, this could destroy their marriage about him not telling his wife what Courtney and him are doing and endangering her life. Like, this could break them up. This is serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Courtney is not his child. So, yes, but you know what I'm talking about, biologically. So,
telling my father. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had this conversation with him.
So what he's doing is it's a twofer. I agree with you 100%. He's messing with his marriage and he's messing with his wife's daughter's life. So you have to have that conversation because you're lying to your spouse constantly. The trust factor is not there anymore. And I know you're doing it to protect her, but you also have to trust her. So, and Courtney's a child. You can't go by what Courtney's saying. Well, she's going to take this away from me and she's not going to let me do this and she's not going to let me do that. You can't go on what she's saying. You have to trust the process and you have to talk to your spouse.
Yeah. He's really in a messed up kind of situation, but I do feel like, okay, Pat, you need well, maybe he's been trying, but he really needs to be the parent and be like, no, I'm going to tell her. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his wife.
Exactly.
And he's
Exactly.
doing it because he's trying to protect her. So let her be pissed off and mad all she wants. I don't care if you're mad. I'm going to tell her. So first of all, I was like, yes, I'm glad that he is going to tell her because he's at a point where he's crashing cars.
Yeah, people are dying.
His favorite car. His favorite car.
Every episode, somebody dies.
Right. And you're covering up what these kids who have no training still are doing. And it's like, so he just was like, yo, let's tell your mom. And she's like, no, please, please, please. And I said, here we go with the no, please. And and I'm like, oh my gosh, when are they going to learn?
Right. I mean, the thing is that Courtney didn't it wasn't like the other battles. Courtney didn't just get a scraped knee. She got beat down to where she was unconscious at the end of episode 1, Shiv Part 1, and she got put in the hospital. And so it's getting very serious.
Every battle.
Yeah, and it's like Pat did go talk to the Cosmic staff. I love the Cosmic staff. I love it too. It's such a character, and it says nothing. It goes. So
but it wasn't even doing that when he was talking to it. It was just like whatever.
And I love it because it's again from the comics that doesn't exist. So this is all new territory.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
In the comics, the staff is just mechanical. It has no life. It's just a weapon. So here it's all brand new. Whatever they're doing, however they're going to explain if it's the soul of the previous Starman that's trapped within it, we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is interesting. I do think at some point they have to, like Pat was saying, I'm not talking just about anybody. I'm talking about your mother. Yes, we made up a story for everybody else, but we got to tell your mother what's happening, regardless of, what the consequences are. Like, this is her mom. And so I do think we're going to see a little bit more because, Barbara's also caught in between, right? She's in the house with Stargirl, but she works for Mr. Icicle. Whatever we calling him, because I forgot his daggone name.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things too, because as the story continues to develop and all these characters start to come to play, especially the evil ones, they all now know who Stargirl is, or at least they're starting to know who Stargirl is. So either way, you're now putting the mother in an awkward and particular predicament for the simple fact that she doesn't know what's going on, but all these people know who her parents are, who her brother is, so they know who they can attack and kind of put in a situation where they can then use that situation against her, and then they don't know what's going on, and they, so it's not fair to the mother. It's not fair to anybody.
It's on and crack.
No, it is. But what makes me laugh every episode is the mom is clueless. She's walking around town just like the bird. I'm so happy. How are you, everyone? It's a beautiful day. And I'm like, Trick, there is, she's
murder.
Every day is sunshine.
Yes, she's completely clueless to anything. And I'm like, it is so, I just think how they play that is hilarious.
But is she though? Because when Pat was talking to her in the hall and he said that he wanted to talk to her about something, there was something in their conversation that lets you to believe that she senses that there's something going on here that he's not being totally truthful about.
She won't give him time to talk. He keeps approaching her saying, can we talk? I have something to tell you. She's, I'm busy.
Later, I'm tired from the trip.
What I was going to say is that the next episode or here on out, it's going to be on and cracking because the cat's out the bag. Everybody knows who everyone is. And so now the show can begin after what Courtney did.
So one thing I want to talk about, we had talked about this a little bit last week, is Icicle, whatever we call him, Jordan, right? And, you know, when you think about a villain, yes, he is killing people, but there's a cause behind it, and it's a distorted reason. But like when he killed Mr. Riley, like he said, you work for Bannerman. Oh, you got 5 promotions. But that company was doing pollution. And then he named his wife as being one of the people affected by it. I didn't feel bad when he killed Mr. Riley. I was like, okay, I'm not supposed to like the bad characters, but I'm happy that you took this man out because he was a polluter. What do y'all think? I mean, I'm so conflicted with his character in particular.
It's the same if you were a Arrow fan. The Green Arrow, he did the same thing. When he came back as the Green Arrow, he had a list of everybody who did the city wrong, and he went out and killed him. But he's the hero.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
He's the hero. So
I love when they play a villain like that. I love when any show, any movie writes a villain and builds the character where you hate them, but like you feel for them too. You know what I mean? So yeah, like we were saying last week, it's like he has like quote unquote good intentions. Like he's coming from a place of, well, I want to right this wrong, but he's like, you know, he's killing everybody to do it. And in his mind, he's right.
I just like him because that icicle thing is real cool. That yes. Coming out the mouth, and he's freezing people and killing people that way. That is such a cool superpower.
Yeah,
I just like it.
I just pray now that they got picked up for season 2, and it's no longer going to be on the streaming service. It's going to be directly on the CW. Yes. That I hope that the CW doesn't take over in terms of production. Because all of the streaming service shows, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, are class act production. Like the effects are stellar, and the CW has like this cheese factor to it. Because on the CW there are ice villains or ice people, but their powers or the way they show the special effects on the CW shows like The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow are cheap compared to this icicle. And so I'm hoping that when we get into season 2 that they still spend them coins.
Yeah, I hope nothing changes.
And also I hope the writers don't change, because the thing with the CW too, a lot of times
my God, I hope so.
They have these corny little one-liners that they throw in there with a lot of the scenes that kind of also makes it very cheesy.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about Henry. Henry King, because we're going from going from Jordan now to our next emerging villain, but we don't know if he's going to be a villain yet, right? Henry started to control things with his mind. He discovers his father's suit. He discovers some VHS tapes in the cabinet that he probably don't have a VCR to play, and some letters, and one in particular from Dr. Ito, you know, who is Cindy's dad, telling him, you know, Brainwave that Cindy would watch Henry, right? And the other thing about Henry, just going back to when we talked last week, I do think that he's getting a bad rap as like someone who's bad, right? He's getting the rap for being the person who revealed Yolanda's boob photo or whatever she took a picture of. But I honestly believe that Cindy hacked his phone and released the photo.
Yeah, she did.
To date him. But nobody says that. It's always
because
like
nobody knows that.
Right.
Nobody knows. The only person that knows that is us, the viewers, because it was shown that way.
Right.
But nobody in the school knows that.
And the other thing is now Henry knows Courtney is Stargirl. So let's dig into Henry. What do y'all think about Henry?
The cat's out the bag, like I said. It's going to be on and cracking here on out on the show because there are no secret identities, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And Henry will be bad because it's tied to two things. Henry is going to be tied to Cindy, and then also Henry has a thing against Stargirl. You saw him close the door on her when she was just there at the hospital, and she was in the hospital, and she just happened to go out of the room, and all she said was "Hello, Henry," and he just looked at her stone cold, and then closed the door. So he has issues with her as it is, just not even knowing she was Stargirl. So now that he knows she's Stargirl, oh yeah, Henry's gonna be turning on her and Henry's just he has a lot of things inside him, and he has a lot of problems and a lot of issues. So they all do. So
it's high school. It's high school.
He's gonna be turning out evil, and Cindy's gonna get into his head too.
I love Cindy.
She's so evil.
All right.
But she's good evil. She's just catty.
So let's okay. Oh my God. Cindy comes to visit Courtney at her house. I'm sitting there like, okay, she came over to apologize.
Classic. Classic.
Okay, so we good. She don't remember. Then she's like, oh, and by the way, I know your secret and I'm gonna kill all your friends. What?
Cindy, she's like the cat that just found a mouse and is playing with the mouse. Bloop, 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 bloop. That was that scene for me. She walked in and here it is. She sees the mouse and she's just batting it back and forth. And Courtney's just sitting there like, oh, the whole time.
The girl's getting bored.
Yo.
She's bored. Now she's found excitement. She's just like, oh, this is all me now. Like, I'm in high school. I've been walking around with a whole bunch of people that I don't like. My father won't let me do anything. Now I found out who Stargirl is, and
she wants to prove something.
Nemesis.
She wants to prove something, and she wants a seat at the table. So she'll do anything to get a seat at that ISA table.
Well, she also said she's gonna keep Courtney's identity a secret from the rest of them, because she wants to have this to herself. Like you said, it's the canary, the cat and the canary. Like she is like, oh, I'm gonna milk all of this, all of it. I mean, I don't like what is up with her physical makeup. Can she not be hurt?
She is.
Yeah.
She think of her as Wolverine.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a product of her father's engineering.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, and so she has regeneration, and she has the shivs that are in her arm.
Got it.
Yeah, and she's a skilled fighter. So just think of her as Wolverine.
Okay. And let's talk about, so while Cindy is at Courtney's house, the Motley Crew is over there.
Oh my God! You mean the room bandit? She sneaks into everybody. Dr. Midnight sneaks into everybody's room in the neighborhood.
Let me tell you something. That showed true leadership skills first, because she was like, "No,
Beth now."
That shows nosiness. She's a nosy pack.
But she's a good team leader, because they was just gonna go unhinged, and she was like,
"Yeah,
no, let's do it my way."
She's becoming the heart.
Yeah,
like that was her little episode. I said, "Yo, Beth, I see you."
That was dope.
But she needs to learn when to leave, because if
she's just not socializing, Brian. This is all brand new for her.
Right.
She was a loner, so she's just now getting to talk to people and assert herself and becoming one, and getting her confidence. So this is all brand new territory for her.
Right. She's still, kind of feeling her way through it or whatever. But I love how she's like the voice of reason for all of them. So I like that they're making her like the foundation, and the sort of the sensible one.
I was cracking up when Beth and Pat was at the door talking to Bobby and trying to describe their relationship. That whole scene to me was hilarious, because she was like, it's my dad, stepdad, I'm a mechanic, I'm doing this, or I'm doing this. Like they of course they didn't coordinate their stories, because this was on the fly, because Pat was looking at them like, if y'all don't take your asses home. Pat is like, I'm so done rounding up these teenagers.
I'm done. Y'all won't listen.
Not at all.
Won't listen. And then she goes up, nosying in the room and looking around for stuff. Like, I know she's trying to find out information, but they're telling her like, yo, come on. Cindy is outside. And she's like, wait, let me let me just see if I can. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like hard-headed.
How much time you allow somebody to go to a bathroom in another person's house?
You know,
that girl went up the stairs. She went down into the secret basement.
But
she
Brian,
went down
you forgot the mom was trying to get some. She was trying to get her She was like, whatever. I was like, I got some peeps in the house.
She was trying to get Pat cookies. She didn't want to give Pat no cookies. She didn't want the chocolate chips. She wanted them cookies.
She was like, "Hey Pat, how you doing, Pat? How you doing?"
She slid her leg in between his leg and brushed up on him.
I know, Lorena, you're gonna get to in a second, but where was the mother during the fight scene? She didn't hear all the commotion?
Yo,
what was it?
I wanted to know all that too, because I'm just like, all that stuff breaking up upstairs in the room.
She ain't real.
Yes, I know. Yes. Well, first of all, so the mother, remember when, Beth had her glasses on, right? Her goggles.
Yes.
And they were trying to figure out who Bobby was. Like, I think, like we were saying last week, she's like a Stepford wife. Like, she's there physically.
She's just created. Yeah, she's just created.
Right.
She's not.
Well, he created her with the sex hormone, though. We saw that.
Well, he gotta get something. He gotta get something from it.
We don't know if she was created. We don't know if she's a clone. Like, we don't know what she is.
Right, if he lobotomized her or something. You know what I mean? Like, true. We don't know yet.
Well, he didn't take the sex hormone away because she was definitely feeling, Pat boy. Pat was like,
well, Dr. Ito got to get his.
Getting none from Dr. Ito.
Well, we don't know. Then why she got the sex hormone? He got to get his too.
She got the sex hormone because she ain't getting no sex.
Say it again, B. She ain't
getting no sex.
No sex.
She ain't getting no sex.
I was actually scared for Beth when she punched in the numbers and went down to the basement. I was like,
Solomon Grundy is down there.
Yeah,
heard him growling, and she was walking down that tunnel, and I was like, she gonna get eaten alive right now. I'm serious. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, Beth, what are you doing? But I like how they built up that suspense, though. Like, I was really like, oh my gosh, this girl's gonna get eaten alive.
And then she's kind of becoming more brave as they go on, and so after that, she goes upstairs because she needs to find something to help them figure out who Cindy is. And before they leave, she gets the photo of Cindy's dad. Dr. Ito, the war criminal, but Dr. Ito is from like the 1930s and 40s. So he's like a time machine.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But he's a reptile.
Oh.
I thought so. Because you see his eyes.
Well, see, I'm so pissed that when they showed this show in the trailers, when the show was starting, they revealed his face in the trailer. So we know what he.
I missed it.
Oh well, don't look.
I didn't see it.
Oh well, yeah, they revealed his face, and so we see what he looks like in the trailer. So he's altered himself, and that's probably why his life is prolonged.
Okay, so Yolanda's texting Courtney like we over here at the house. Cindy's on her way back. She gets back, right? Beth gets out, like Yolanda throws her out the window. Okay. But nobody tells Courtney that they're okay. Nobody gives Courtney the info.
Well, first of all, Courtney is in a hospital bed. Huh?
Did you realize time had went by? Because they were at the house in daylight. Courtney didn't show up to the house till it was dark.
It was dark.
Right.
So there was some time that passed between them texting to say that old girl's on her way back.
Right.
From when Courtney goes to the house. So they had maybe 2 hours to tell her we're good.
Well, we gonna do
Here's my problem again with Courtney. You gotta start learning how to trust your team. Ain't nobody asked you to come for our help or aid, girl. Just relax. You in the hospital. You're recovering from getting your ass beat down.
She was home. She was home, remember?
No. Oh yeah, she
No,
did
she
get
was
home
home.
that time. She
Yeah,
was home.
But
she was recovering.
But she was still recovering.
Yes,
right, but
yes.
she believed that she's the most powerful one and she's
She
the
does.
leader. And so she heard that all her friends are about to get killed, by
Right.
Shiv.
Soon.
And so
Yeah.
So
there's
oh,
no
go
one
ahead.
else. There's no one left to save them.
Right. And so did you notice though that the cosmic staff was a little hesitant?
Right.
Yes.
Pat told the cosmic staff to knock it off.
Right. It was like, no, but then she said, oh, they're in danger, right? So here we go. Henry driving. Why? Oh, Henry, because he discovered the letter, he on his way to confront Cindy, right? Then Courtney on her way to Cindy's house.
No, that was a hell of a scene.
Yo, that
whole scene.
So
I was like, yes.
We got Cindy and Courtney fighting, and Courtney can't fight. Cindy busts her ass all
because she won't
Cindy
train.
is trained. Courtney is not.
She won't train. Pat is trying, and she won't do it because she's a kid and she think, no, Pat, I got it. I got my cosmic staff. I'm good. And it's like, you don't even know how to use it yet.
Right. And once the staff is gone, you're useless.
Useless. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're fighting. Henry is like, what the fuck is going on here? And he can't control, he can't control what's happening with him, but he knows, like, because Cindy is about to, gouge out Courtney's eyes. She on top again, about to bust her face out. And, Henry's like, in his mind, he's like, this is not right. So he's holding Cindy back.
He's conflicted, right?
Yeah, he's mind reading the two of them.
Yeah, because he's reading their minds and what their thoughts are at the time and what they're saying.
And he doesn't.
I thought she was going to reveal that Courtney put his father in the hospital. That's what I thought she was going to think.
Nobody knows. Oh yes, you're right.
I thought she was going to think that, and then he would find out that Stargirl is the one that caused his father to be in the hospital.
Right. So he hasn't mastered anything about his power or whatever. So he's conflicted with that. He's trying to deal with that. He's hearing the two of them. He's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? He's totally conflicted and just like stuck where he is or whatever.
And so, he's like, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And he's like, in his mind, I don't want to hear this shit. It's too much. And he's like, stop. And we discover just how powerful he is.
Right.
He blows them to the away from me.
Because
oh my God.
Until he learns how to control, until he understands what's happening to him, it's all just a headache to him.
Right.
Like, you're hearing everybody's thoughts. That is annoying. Everything is going in your head now. So you can't think for yourself because you're hearing your thought process along with Courtney's, along with Cindy's, along with cars moving in the street, along with the person down at the block. Like, he's hearing everything. So it's hard for him to understand because, first of all, it's unknown to him. Like, what the hell is happening to me? Right. So until he understands what's happening to him and somebody fully teaches him and tells him about his powers and shows him how to use it, it's all just noise to him.
Yeah.
And I love we're watching everyone's origin story. So all of the kids in the town, in the school, they're all getting these abilities and we're watching it unfold, and they don't know, like Brian said, they don't know what to do. It's all brand new. Their parents have been keeping all the secrets from them. So they don't have their parents as mentors to show them. It's just exciting to watch it all unfold and how everyone interprets their own situation.
Right.
And so lastly, after he kind of blows them away with his mind, he makes them stop fighting. Dr. Ito's clones.
People.
They pull her into the daggone
sewer.
The sewer.
She's doing
nobody sees it, right? But then, so Courtney, Stargirl, and Henry are like, where the hell is Cindy? And Dr. Ito is like, because he sees the replay and he's looking at his cameras. He's like, you had it wrong, Cindy. He does have power. And so now I'm wondering how that's going to play out, because Dr. Ito knows that Henry is powerful.
I said it's on and cracking from here on out. Everybody knows everything. It's on and cracking. Now the show can really begin.
Right.
Yeah, I really like in this episode in particular how most of the characters all had some significant role. Right, we saw, it was kind of like dual stories. Cindy and Courtney are over here. Beth and Yolanda and Rick, they're over here, and Pat. I felt like it was just such a good conversion of like all of the character lines and the stories. So I'm excited about next week.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, and like I said before, they haven't introduced the most powerful characters yet.
I know.
We still have to meet the genie. We still have to meet Green Lantern and Dr. Fate.
Yeah. We got a lot. And so I'm excited about where the show is going. I'm excited that they didn't prolong like revealing who Stargirl was. Because a lot of times it's the whole show. Nobody knows who it is. We know. They know. We know.
You know what else? You know what else I was like thinking about too? Like, what is Icicle's? What are his intentions with Pat's wife? Is it that he likes her, or is he like kind of fake liking her because he's going to use her for something?
No, I think he's starting to like her.
Okay, that's what I felt. Yeah.
Because he's been in revenge mode and mourn mode for his wife, and now here's this woman that
he likes.
He's doing his duty, and he's like, yo, who is this?
Right, yeah. I'm like,
let me get a little something in between killings.
I know. I said, Icicle, she got crushed. Let me crush on this woman over here, and then in the next breath or the next scene, he freezes somebody.
Yes.
Yo, I love it. I'd love to see how they develop that. Like how they use all of that.
They haven't really touched on his son yet to see if his son
has
ice abilities.
Right.
Cameron.
We saw him last.
Which he probably will.
Yeah.
In the comics, his son does have it.
Gotcha.
So we haven't seen Cameron since he asked Courtney to go to the dance and Courtney got beat down. So he don't know that he didn't even visit Courtney in the hospital.
He don't know. He probably don't know.
All right. Let's close this out. Let's rate this episode. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan, and I love the show. What you think, Lynn?
I'm actually going to give it a 4. This was good. Now we're getting into the meat of it. We're getting into the meat, the fighting the villains or whatever. So yes, I'm going to give it a 4.
Brian?
Okay. I thought that's you go first. I give it a 4 too. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Great episode. What do you keep making that face for?
Because you all keep saying 4. This episode was the shit.
Okay. I'm not you, so
because it was a 5 for me.
Okay.
Good for you.
All right. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Wait, here we go. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Did you pass the baton? Did you pass it?
Yes. Here we go.
You dropped the baton.
My part is done.
Watch party done.
She's like, I talked about what I want to talk about. It's all y'all
into the next show.
Yo.
Great transition.
I'm turning it over to my lovely lady,
girl you are.
who will be bringing us around into this new show that we got.
Make sure you save time for my last clip at the end.
We got you.
Put a time limit on me. How you gonna put a time limit on me?
Selector.
Roll the clip. We got plenty of time.
So yeah.
Roll the clip.
Can I say what it? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Lynn. I'm sorry, I'm messing with you.
Oh no, she didn't.
So we are laughing because Lydia turned off her camera, and turning off the camera is almost like muting yourself, like on the Real Housewives of Atlanta when Nene got up and didn't come back to the show. Please continue, Lydia.
We're going to roll into the second part of the show, our watch party, where we're going to talk about Perry Mason on the HBO network. So please roll the clip.
Mr. Mason, certain matters require discretion and finesse. That's the kind of thing you're good at. Wear your good suit.
This is my good suit.
You're a detective, Mr. Mason.
It's a fancy word for a busybody, but yes.
It's very easy for you to break the rules, isn't it? And you never accept any help.
How about I have a look? You stay in the truck. Shut up.
Start the car! How can we help you, Mr. Baggerly?
Members of my church. An unspeakable act has visited upon them.
Kidnapping gone way wrong. Worst thing you ever seen.
What do you know what I've seen?
We do what we don't like when there's a greater good to be served. You more than anyone should know that.
The devil put Charlie Dodson in this box.
Mr. Mason, it's hard to believe that you're the right person for the job.
I'm the only person for this job.
When it gets dark, I won't know no fear.
All they've got is innuendo and circumstance.
Life can be so kind.
We have to go after her!
Why are you digging so hard?
It's the way I play the game.
You want to know things, Mr. Mason. You want to prove things. What comfort has that ever given you?
Blessed be the man who will gather evidence against the devil.
You're saying the police are involved? The cops, the church, everybody.
Blessed be the man who will snap this devil's neck.
I'm just about out of moods.
You said just about out of moods. So what's the move?
Solid ground.
All right.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, you know what?
We.
Oh my God. Why don't we just
spicy.
Roll spicy? Can I get it out? Can I just
come on with it.
Okay, so this particular show, actually, Lorena had mentioned it, and it wasn't even something that was on my watch list or on my radar. She mentioned it, and I was like, at first, like, well, I don't know. But I went and I watched it. And, I will say that this starts out pretty slow. It really does. It starts out slow. And not only that, but I was a little bit confused because, as Lorena had mentioned at the top of the show, this is not our, parents' Perry Mason at all. The Perry Mason of the 50s and the 60s, he was polished. He was, he would he would get his clients and solve the mystery or the crime or whatever, and he would do it all, and it would unfold in the courtroom. He was always pressed. He wasn't, whatever. This 2020 Perry Mason is completely different. And I don't know about you, Lorena, but it threw me off. It actually threw me off because I was like, wait a minute, this wasn't Perry Mason. So what I did was I looked up the show to kind of get a sense of why was it so different from the Perry Mason 50s and 60s. And I learned that the Perry Mason is based off of a series of novels about Perry Mason. So the creators and the writers of the show didn't want to do the same Perry Mason from the 50s and the 60s. They wanted something completely different. So what they did with the Perry Mason character, they went to the novels and brought it back to the origin of Perry Mason, of who he was. So apparently in these novels, how the 2020 Perry Mason is, that's how he is in the beginning of the novels. So, so once I understood that, that's when I said, oh, okay. And I became a little bit more interested. But again, this is, very slow. It moves very slowly. And, it's like, okay, what's happening and what are they doing? But it becomes really, really interesting. Lorena, what did you think about it when you started watching it?
Okay, we're not going to Brian until later. We gonna wait on Brian.
To Brian. We gonna get to everybody.
Okay, so first of all, I love shows like this. It's a crime drama series. It reminds me of if Law and Order was in 1932, where this is based, right? I love the slow buildup. So we are in, don't roll your eyes, Brian. We are in chapter 3 of every series is called a chapter, right? Every episode. So we're in chapter 3. So I love the show. The guy who plays Perry Mason, Matthew Rise, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's an Emmy Award winner. One of 3 on the show, right? He was in this FX spy thriller called The Americans, which I never watched. So I am unfamiliar with his work, but he's a phenomenal actor. And what I like is that they're threading all of these like moments together that help us like understand how this like miserable private detective becomes this like jubilant superstar criminal star attorney. Because right now, Perry Mason is closer to the word criminal.
Gotcha.
Than
anything
lawyer.
else.
Gotcha.
Right. And this is like, so it's 1932 in Los Angeles. Perry's working this obscure case with the like fatty guy who's taking pictures of for the studio. Because he was, like sleeping with the star. Perry gets the call from E.B. Jonathan, played by John Lithgow, another Emmy Award-winning actor, right? And John Lithgow is playing the shit out of this role. I'm just saying.
He's amazing.
Amazing.
He's one of my favorite actors.
He gets the call, right? And John Lithgow is the attorney, the lawyer, E.B. Jonathan, and he's also Perry Mason's lawyer mentor. And he calls Perry to solve this case. And this case was like, when I actually, there's a scene in chapter 1 on the trolley where they leave the baby on the seat. I had to watch that multiple times to figure out what I was looking at, because it's the brutal kidnapping of the 1-year-old, brutal kidnapping and killing and torture of this 1-year-old baby, Charlie Dodson, where they sew his eyes open.
Oh
and like, it's like crazy.
Wow. So it is. It's absolutely crazy. And so the story is based on that. But like you said, Lorena, there's so many different things that are interwoven into the show. Like when you think that it's going down this one road, it leads you into 2 or 3 other roads, and you're like, what? It morphs into other stories or whatever. So he's trying to solve who kidnapped and killed this baby. And so he gets one suspect, and that's not the person. He gets another suspect, that's not the person. And it just literally starts to unfold. And I think like by the middle to end of chapter 2 going into 3, your mind is blown, because it's really not even who you think it is. And it starts to morph. Yes.
I must have missed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sid.
No, sorry, there's a little bit of noise. Sorry, watch party. Does it lead down the road of any black people? Any black people on the show?
Oh yeah.
His name is Charles Chalk.
Okay, I gotta have my black folks.
Paul Drake is the black cop, right? And
he's a cop. Okay,
he's a cop, and he's not an inmate.
I gotta
he's
ask.
A cop,
okay.
And so he's introduced in chapter 2, and he's introduced as someone who comes across the bodies of the kidnappers.
Gotcha.
He actually is an excellent police officer.
Nice.
Writes up this report, follows the clues. The corrupt officers who we find, Lydia, one of them was in cahoots with the kidnappers.
Yeah.
You know, had the man jump off the roof and kill himself and clean up the body. They tell the black cop, you need to change your, like, whatever you wrote, you need to change that. And he basically intimidates the black cop while he's shopping with his wife, you know, to basically let him know, like, it's good to have friends. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
So who's playing the guy? You know?
His name is Charles Chalk.
Is it a new face or someone we know?
No,
it's a new guy?
I want to say, oh my gosh.
I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah, he's been a character actor in a lot of films.
I'm probably familiar
when
with
you
him.
see his face, you're gonna be like, oh yes, I know who he is. But he's excellent in it, and he's caught up in this because he's figuring out like what's happened and about these kidnappers, but the bad cops intimidate him not to say anything.
But
so
that may be hopefully that may lead into a good storyline, because being a cop in the 30s and 40s for a black person,
black cop,
that, you know, they're probably going to tackle some racial issues and topics, and so that it's probably going to be really interesting.
They do tackle that. Yeah, so it's really a good little. I mean, you know, it was interesting. It got interesting to me, and so I just want to mix it up a little bit and get Brian's thoughts.
No, yeah, continue. Don't hold on,
Brian. Let's
no. We want. because you started watching it.
I watched one episode. It sounds.
You started watching it.
That's technically you started watching it.
It sounds like a very exciting show. However, I didn't know anything about this baby. I must have taken a nap.
Jesus!
Was the baby in the first episode?
The first 10 minutes.
He said he watched the first episode.
He didn't watch it. Whatever.
I did watch it. Look, I normally like period pieces like this.
He probably didn't have his dinner at that time. You know how he gets.
But it just didn't do anything for me. I know, Lorena, you recommended it and you hyped it up, and I wanted to see it. So I took a look at it, and I sat on my couch and I turned on the TV, you know, got all excited. And I was like, oh, getting ready to watch Perry Mason, because Lorena said Perry Mason's going to be so dope. And yeah, I didn't like it. It was too slow for me. It was, and normally not the dialogue really bothers me too much. I just needed a little more action. I like my cop shows with a little bit more killing and a little more fun, and this was just too slow for me. But I will go back and revisit it just to see, because I sometimes when I give things one watch and go back and watch it again, sometimes there's something that'll take with me, and then I'll continue on with it. So I'm not going to dismiss it right out the bat, but as of right now, I am. But
it's hard to judge a show off of an episode. So
yeah,
you know, you really got to dive into it and really watch a few for it to get
something like this. Yeah.
And as I mentioned, when I started watching it, Brian, I was like, what is this? And why? It was just moving. It moves really slow. It does. I'm not even gonna front. So I was just sitting there like, oh, here we go. But then at one point something happened and I was like, oh my gosh, and tuned in. So chapter 3 it was like, oh, now I'm paying attention because I really want to see this.
It's on the third episode. Chapter 3 means third episode.
Yeah. It's on the HBO network.
Nice.
And I mean, I think it was interesting. So I don't even know if I want to go around and rate. I don't think so, because we pretty much know who likes it and who doesn't. So we're just gonna keep it.
Don't nod down on my box.
I will say.
Yeah.
I was just going to say one thing that it is. I did actually find the first episode, chapter 1, to be extremely slow moving. But
that was the one you were all excited about.
Yeah, no, but then as I continued to watch it, keep watching the episode, I got more drawn into Perry's character and understanding who he is, and understanding that he's a father who can't see his child. It was just so interesting. And then when they did the preview of chapter 2, I was like, oh, I'm all in.
I didn't see any of that. I must have been turned over on the couch.
So that's Perry Mason, y'all. And I think we not gonna rate it. This was just something that that Lorena had came upon, and I started watching, and I was like, okay, cool. It's really interesting. It's very slow moving in the first 2 kind of episodes, but it really gets moving and gets more into his character. So so that's it. We're not even gonna rate that. We're gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Sid, because you wanna kind of get into something or talk about what?
Yes, yo. So was it the Amazon Prime show The Boys? Season 2 is coming in September, and they just released the trailer to it. So please, producer, please show the trailer real quick.
Associates Marvin Milk, Hugh Campbell, or this man, please call 1-8880-CRIME.
The world still needs superheroes.
So let's get out there.
Let's take these cocksuckers down.
We are famous now.
Don't you worry. Daddy's home. I know we've been through some shit together. But this is a fucking mess. And we're the most wanted lads in the country. So what's your big plan? You'll love it.
I won't love it. I never love it. Never fucking love it.
Noted. Ain't you twits lucky that I showed up?
September 4th, I can't wait.
Yes,
oh my God.
Yes.
Yes!
I'm so
Just okay, real quick, recap of it. If you don't know what The Boys is, The Boys is basically the Justice League of America if they were bad. A private corporation genetically engineered people and gave them powers and marketed and promoted them, and they show the backstory and the real life story of these heroes that are heroes, but they're really assholes and bad guys. And the boys are a group of vigilantes that's trying to keep the heroes on the straight and narrow path. And so it's really explicit. It's really in your face. It's raw. It's gritty. And I love it. Imagine a bad Superman. I
love it. Oh my
What y'all think? What y'all think?
Yeah, no, I love it. Like the first season was incredible to me. To have superheroes shown in this light of being bad, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant concept. It was a great first season. I'm so excited and looking forward to the second season. It was gory. It was funny. It was sexual. It had all the elements in it that I just love and gets me all excited about. So
And
I thought it was great.
My fellow HU Howard University classmate is in it. Laz Alonso from my year, my class. He was an RA in my dorm. Shout out to Laz. Yes, HU. You know.
Yeah, I absolutely love The Boys. The raunchiness of it, the how, you know, it's like you got these superheroes and it's like, wow, they have these superpowers and everything, but they're flawed in so many ways. And it was, I mean, in so many ways, but it's hilarious. It really is hilarious how they take these individuals with these, you know, powers and stuff like that, and they make them flawed. They make them like egotistical and misogynist, and you're like sitting there like, oh my God, is this for real? You will, it just cracks you up. Like every episode, you are like cracking up. I love The Boys. I'm so glad it's coming back.
Yeah, we got to add it to watch party.
So as a newbie, this is, you know, one of the first times that I'm actually seeing what this show, The Boys, is about. And it's super gory. Somebody's head got exploded by the hand. I was like, what the fluff?
I love it.
It does remind me, remember the old Superman of the 80s with Christopher Reeve? Remember there was like one of the movies where whatever he did, he became like bad Superman.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is what it reminded me of. And
that's what Zack Snyder's Super Justice League coming out on was it Disney Plus or the Disney Network next year? That's what it's gonna be like.
I mean, it looks interesting. I would have to just get over the gore with the heads exploding and
it does get gory.
Oh my God. That from I mean, I was literally like, what is that?
And then throughout the season, there's a lot of that. But can I just say, shout out to Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime has been coming up with a lot of great concept shows. And they are winning right now. They're starting to rivaling to Netflix up there because they're coming out with a lot of great shows.
In Netflix ass, I'm gonna need BET Plus to step it up.
No.
Oh God! He threw BET in there.
Sydney, keep hope alive, baby. Keep hope alive.
Let me just sip on my water while he's watching BET.
We're gonna keep hope alive. But no, this is absolutely a great show. It is. It'll keep you laughing. It'll keep you, you know, just surprised at every turn. So it's a great show to watch.
It'll keep you covering your eyes when heads be exploding.
So no, I'm sorry, no watching with Taylor for this one.
No, this is not a kiddie show, people.
No,
not a
not
kids
at all.
show.
It's superheroes, but it's not for kids.
Not at all.
Yeah,
definitely not for kids. Well, I definitely am intrigued by it. I will, as Brian said about Perry Mason, give it a go. I will watch it, and I'm looking forward to it. I want to be sure that we let folks know what's coming on Sunday. Sid, did you want to tell them what's coming on Sunday so that they can join the watch party?
Yeah. So on Sunday we're going to be talking about, of course, The Chi and Greenleaf, the current episodes for this week. So I'm looking forward to that.
And
also,
right.
Sorry, and also, I just want to let people know that BET is going to have a movie coming out this weekend called Friend Request. So check that out. And then Charlize Theron has another movie coming out. Lorena, what's the name of the movie coming out on Friday?
The Old Guard.
We're going to be talking about that on Sunday too, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We will be talking about that on Sunday too. Yes.
Look at Brian shouting out BET.
Hey, I gotta get the black in.
There you go.
I get black in too.
So Sunday at 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please join us to talk about The Chi. I think Greenleaf, The Old Guard. There's all kinds of things that we're gonna be talking about, and please make sure that you join us. Please make sure that if you have any suggestions for shows that we watch, you can put it in the Facebook page of the hit list. I can't remember the email addresses now off the top of my head.
All right. Check your social thing. You know, we're gonna keep it spicy.
You know what? You can send a chat to the hit list on Facebook as well, and the email address at the Hit List Network. So please be sure to join us on Sunday, and we look forward to having you join us again. Thank you.
Deuces.
Be safe.